Welcome back to another episode of Focus Garage. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about the modifications that we've got on our cars.
Yeah, we're going to talk about what Mike did to his car with his full bolt-on and what I have done to mine with being in a little bit more than a full bolt-on. So you want to start off with what mods you have and what were your expectations and what is the end result?
Yeah, absolutely. A little bit of background on me first. I did have a Fiesta ST for about a year, and I never really went farther on that car than a stage one, just off-the-shelf tune. So when I got rid of that car, I kept my Accessport, so I had that from the get-go, and I knew that I wanted to at least tune my Focus. Mm-hmm. So going into it, I knew that that'd be the bare minimum that I'd be doing. When I bought the car, I waited a couple hundred miles, made sure that there was nothing crazy about the car, and I flashed the car immediately. Wow. I did that stage one tune probably by 500-600 miles on the car, which probably is risky to some people's mind, but at the end of the day, people say these cars are broken in from the factory, so there's that with it. So I did that right off the bat, and I immediately noticed a power difference versus the Fiesta. The car felt more torquey. That torque targeting in first and second gear was gone, so it was a better experience to drive. And at the time that I had bought my Focus, they'd finally been around for a little while, so there's more aftermarket parts choices. The issue is when you buy a car first, second model year, the aftermarket's not caught up with it yet, and there's not a lot of choices. By the time I had my Focus and I had flashed a stage one tune,
which was 2015, by the way, right?
Yeah. My Focus is a 2015 model year, and I bought it right in the end of 2015 in August or so. So, with that being said, with the Focus being out since 2013, there was a lot of parts out. So, I was kind of hunting for deals, and I didn't want to go the route of used parts with the car. I wanted to do, pretty much new parts, just because I didn't want to take the chance of something not fitting right, something not working right. So, probably by 2,000 miles or so in the car, I bought an intercooler. I bought the Levels Performance intercooler because it was appealing to me because it was a direct bolt-on. There's no drilling into the crash bar, nothing like that. I installed that, and that was my first time ever pulling a bumper on a car or anything like that. Went really smooth. Easy install. Took a couple hours in my buddy's garage. Threw it on. Still using the Cobb off-the-shelf tunes. Rolled through with that.
At that point, you were at stage 2?
Yeah, that's what you'd call, the stage 2 off-the-shelf map through Cobb. Nothing custom yet or anything like that. What's interesting about these cars, you and I both know this, but not everybody else might, that in order to be considered full bolt-on in these cars, you really don't need a lot if you're stock turbo, You don't need an intake. You don't need a full catback exhaust. All you really need on these cars is just an intercooler and a downpipe,
Downpipe is kind of questionable.
Even that's negligible now.
Yeah, just the Cobb AP or the SCT4, whatever. And just like the AP that you can monitor and you can rewrite the ECU with the tune. Yeah,
something to tune it with there. So
what was the end result? How much horsepower did you pick up just from base there? I mean, from the factory there are 252, 270 crank power. So they dyno at 220 wheel horse,
210 to 225, somewhere in that range.
Yeah, and then 270 wheel torque.
Yeah,
torque is crazy on that car.
Even stock, yeah.
Yeah, even stock. And then what did you end up with your full bolt-on stage, whatever you want to call that?
Yeah, so
power level.
After I threw the rest of the parts of my car, so I had that intercooler there. I did a downpipe probably by 3,000 miles on the car. I ran the Cobb off-the-shelf stage 3 for maybe a couple of weeks, and then I started playing around with pro tuning. After I did the pro tuning, I got everything dialed in the way I wanted to. I never actually put the car in a real dyno, but they've got that thing called virtual dyno where you basically take your data logs that you do with the car and plug them into this application on your computer. And with vDyno, my car is making between, and they say if you plug everything in right, it's pretty accurate.
Yeah, 5% difference.
Yeah. I was getting runs between 250 to 260-ish horsepower and torque in the upper 360s to 370, and that's at the wheels.
Yeah, which is like most other people, which is at the same level of all the other full bolt-on Focuses.
Yeah, in my car, it's just a pump gas tune. There's nothing crazy. I'm not playing with E85, just 93 pump gas, no methanol, nothing like that. So for a daily driver, it is pretty fun. And even with that, with that excessive torque in a front-wheel drive car, I do run into, traction issues and wheel hop and stuff like that. So power-wise, unless I was to do solid motor mounts and, an LSD in the transmission, I'm pretty content with where I'm at, I've got about 30,000 miles on my car now, and they've been hard miles. I mean, the car has done only 2 trips to the drag strip, but it's probably seen, I don't know, what, close to 40 or 50 passes in those 2 trips to the drag strip. It's done a few autocrosses, a lot of back roads cruising. Car's seen a lot of,
highway pulls.
A lot of highway pulls, heavy throttle driving, and it's held up really well. The only issue I've had with the car was tune related. I've, had 2 oxygen sensors go out on me, but that was because the tune was running too rich. But mechanically, car's great. Clutch has no issues with it. Engine doesn't make any weird noises that it didn't before. And, it still pulls as hard as I feel it did, back when I had first put all the parts on the car. That's a very moderate way I've gone with the car. Obviously, I've got, other stuff on it like appearance and suspension mods and things like that. But as far as power modifications, that's pretty much what I've done with my car. I've got, just a drop-in filter, the downpipe, and the intercooler.
And you're pretty much happy with the power levels that car is putting out.
For what I bought the car and expected to do with the car, yeah, that puts me right where I want to be. I know that you can go farther, as like what you did. But where I want to be with the car, that about satisfies it for me.
What kind of suspension are you running?
I'm running the Fortune Auto coilovers, and I love what they've done with the car. If anybody out here is listening and they drive a Focus ST, definitely look at doing suspension of the car. The car's going to be very bouncy, as you know, from the factory. And my car actually rides better now on these coilovers than it did from the factory.
Interesting.
It's not as bouncy. It's not as,
and you don't
jarring.
have it in the... You don't even have it on the soft settings. You have it on the mid, right?
I'm right about the middle, yeah. Not quite halfway, but a little bit more than a quarter stiffness. And yeah, the car rides fantastically. And it's set pretty low too. So a lot of times when you lower a car, you lose that ride quality. And, with the way these are set up right now, it's a very happy trade-off.
What kind of wheels do you have wheel and tire setup?
We'll put a little picture somewhere in it here along the way. I'm running Enkei NT03+M wheels with Nitto NT-05 tires. It's wintertime here in Illinois, so we haven't really driven much on it. We had like a little spurt of heat where, I got
like
to put
a week,
Yeah, like a week in the 60s-ish.
Little tease.
So it was a tease. Now it's back to, tornadoing? I don't know what's going on.
There was a tornado
today
west of Naperville
in February.
Interesting.
But yeah, no, it's a really unique combination. I think there's something like 5 or 6 sets of these wheels made to the Focus bolt pattern in the country. So, I found them actually secondhand used, like with 300 miles on them, and drove to Georgia to pick them up. But I love the way the setup fits on the car. Those Nittos, they hook very, very well. I'd love to see what they do when it's actually 80, 90 degrees outside. So
interesting.
It'll be exciting to see, what the summer brings with that,
Yeah, summer's around the corner. We'll find out pretty soon.
Hopefully. Let's hear about the mods that you've done on your car and kind of what expectations did you have when you bought the car? Did you know you were going to go as far as you did, or did that kind of snowball into something more?
Yeah. So before this, I had a G35, which I was about to go boost, twin turbo boost on the twin turbos on it, but then I changed my mind, and it was basically a full bolt-on car, and I wanted something with reliability. I wanted a factory warranty. I didn't want to touch my car, and then I went in and then test drove a Focus ST, and I'm like, this is the car. This would be a perfect daily, and it would be a perfect like backroad warrior, and like I don't even have to do anything to this car.
That's the famous last words. I'm not going to touch it.
Yeah, I'm not going to touch the car. I'm going to leave it as it is and then keep the warranty. And I got a pretty good deal on it. And 1,000 miles, well, maybe like 1,500 miles into the car, I went stage 3, which was intake. The green filter, what I had, front mount intercooler, Cobb AP, and downpipe. And then I had a muffler and resonator delete on the car. That lasted me for like less than a year, and I wanted more power. The more I was ethanol tuned, I had like E30 mix tune, and the power level it was making was like crazy for the stock turbo. It was pushing between 280 to 290 and almost 400 pounds of torque. Wheel spin all day and then wheel hop all day. It was crazy. Car wouldn't hook. So what's the most logical thing? Go big turbo. So I got a great deal on a GTX 2971 R Garrett turbo, and I installed that along with hard charge pipes because we have issues where the charge pipe will blow off because of too much pressure. And then I had all the other supporting mods for the big turbo, which is a blow-off valve and you need an oil catch can at this point because there's too much pressure and then oil is just all over the place.
And you did all these mods yourself, right? You didn't
Yeah.
pay anybody to install them, nothing like that, right?
Nope, right in here, right in this garage.
Right in this garage.
Yep, and then that guy over there behind the camera. Love you, buddy. And then the next thing I did was I went a little bit more safety to keep the engine running safely. So I have Stratified Guardian engine, and I actually purchased a Stratified auxiliary fuel, which should be coming in this week, and it'll be nice to have enough power fuel up top so I'm not leaning out and blowing up the engine. But other than that, I have also BC coilovers, and that's it as suspension wise. And tires and wheels, I have BF Goodrich come to, which are the car came with all seasons, and compared to the all seasons that I had, P0 and Narrows, these tires are like day and night, and they hook pretty good. I think I'm at like 340, 350 with the stock fuel, and around like 370, 380 torque or something like that. And they hook pretty good. I don't have any problem. I just had problem with the engine rocking so much back and forth because of the torque and big turbo power. So I had to have solid mounts, and like I have passenger side and rear motor mount, and then I have a transmission side over there sitting on the table.
How's your experience with those mounts? Do you feel like it made the ride too much vibration, too rough, anything like that?
To be honest, it's a solid mount. So there's no way of having a solid mount that it's not going to rock your engine and it's going to be, soft. There's vibration there. There's vibration.
And that needs to be said. So many people have this mindset that I put an aftermarket mount on and now my car vibrates. Well, no shit. That's the point.
Yeah, I have a 3-inch CPE exhaust, which supposedly you can change the mufflers to get rid of the drone, but you can't. At the end of the day,
it's a 3-inch exhaust.
Yeah, it's a 3-inch exhaust. It's gonna drone no matter what you do, and those are the things that you have to get used to having.
And accept them.
Yeah, because you have you're chasing big numbers.
And you're modifying a car in a way that the factory and Ford never designed for you to do with.
So I think overall, I'm happy with the car, but of course I'm not done doing anything.
What's next with it? Well, what else do you want to do with it?
I think at this point I still have the stock clutch.
It's holding up still, right?
Yeah, I have 43,000 miles on the car, and it's also 2015, and I bought it in September of 2015, so I put a lot of miles on it, and so far it's holding up. I'll be happy if the clutch goes another 20,000 miles. We'll see how it goes.
Uh-huh.
And then clutch will be the next thing soon coming up. And then eventually engine build would be following it to make sure that nothing blows up.
So you're going to stay with it?
Yeah, I love the car. I love the way it drives. I love the way it handles. It's one of the I don't know. It's a very fun car to me.
And it's your daily right now, right?
I daily drive the shit out of it. And I hate it. I love it. I work on it all the time. And it's a Ford. It breaks down.
But see, is that because you modified it? We'll talk about that later. But
yeah, we can talk about it. And I think you're happy with the power level that you are. And I'm happy with the power level that I have. So people that wants to stay, if they have a Focus SC and they want to modify it, but they want to stick with a stock turbo, what would be your advice to them? Like, how should they modify their car?
The car is plenty enjoyable, stock turbo. Obviously, you can still have a lot more fun if you big turbo the car, but being stock turbo, and if you want to get the most out of it, go for a E30 mix tune and do the basic bolt-ons. Get a good pro tune on the vehicle. Have an intercooler done on it, do a downpipe, and, if you want some noises, then maybe do a catback exhaust or an intake. But, you don't need those, do the basic bolt-ons of the car, get a good tune, and you can really enjoy it. It's a good daily driver. The car handles fantastically. It's got enough space for you and your friends, got enough space to go to the grocery store, and it still gets good gas mileage, Following that basic bolt-on mind frame, you can really enjoy the car and still keep the reliability.
I agree. And like the car gets terrific NPG for what it is.
You still, yeah.
Yeah, I get like 24, 25 miles per gallon when I'm on highway, and I get like around 21, 20 on a city when it's like I'm doing 35 and stopping and then going again and all that. So
yeah, that's not that bad. But definitely. Well, one thing we'd like to hear from you guys is, let us know in the comments below. What do you drive? Is the car stock? Is it modified? What are your build plans? And, do you regret what you've done with the car so far? It's always interesting to hear if people are happy with their mods or if, they kind of be like, oh, I wish I didn't tinker around with
there's
that.
always that other side of the coin,
we're going to cover that.
Yeah, we'll talk about it next episode and we'll cover a little bit of basis of it.
Absolutely. So with that being said, that's going to wrap it up for this one. I'm Mike. We'll catch you next time.
Yeah, I'm Onder. Kudos to you. Have fun.